Hey, what's up, Dividend Nomads? Welcome back to the channel. I got something that I think you're going to find very interesting today. I got like a chart and some visuals to show you about this as well. But today, I'm going to share with y'all why I do not like the Magnificent Seven and why I don't like YMAG right now going forward at this point in time. And I got the chart, just like the visual chart and all this other stuff to show you guys. So I'm going to share that with you today so you can get a better understanding of how my mind is working around this. Because I've been saying for a while, I wanted to cut my YMAG, and some people were asking like, why I don't want to cut it, blah, blah. And I've mentioned several different things about Magnificent Seven, but today I'm going to give you a visual representation of what that looks like. And so yeah, I'm going to record the screen for you, take you into my computer here, and so I can share this little chart with you. And yeah, I think you're going to find it interesting. So let's record the screen. Let's see here, 3, 2, 1, and bam. All right, so here we are in my computer screen, and I have this chart up here. You can see the S&P top 10 holdings, and this is broken down by year since 1980. And now this is very important, and you'll understand why my thinking is the way it is after looking at this chart. So we can see here in 1980 and 1985, this side-by-side comparison of the S&P 500. You can see we've got IBM on both sides. Look, we got Exxon on both sides, AT&T. Some of these you don't see though, like look, Standard Oil has disappeared in 85. Schlumberger's disappeared in 85. Shell, gone, right? So, you know, a lot of these, they didn't make it even 5 years in the top 10 holdings of the S&P 500. And you can see this makes up 25% of the index as well. Now, if we go over here, let's compare some more just for fun here. We got 85 and 1990. Again, you can see we've got IBM on both sides, Exxon, General Electric, AT&T is on both sides. See that? We got General Motors only on one side. It didn't make it to the 1990s, right? Royal Dutch made it. DuPont didn't make it. Amoco didn't make it. Bell South didn't make it. Sears didn't make it. So you see a lot of these top 10 holdings in the S&P 500, they dropped out of the top 10. They're no longer in the top 10, or they're not weighted very high in the S&P. So I think you guys see what I'm getting at here. But let's just keep going for comparison here. We got 1990 to 1995. And again, you can see here, look, General Electric was here on third, and it moved up to the top position. So I mean, the company's growing, getting better and better. They have more conviction in it, and they make it a larger portion of the S&P 500, right? And you see here, we have IBM was the top one. And then if you look at 1995, it's gone. It's out of there. You know, these companies change, man. Look at ExxonMobil, 2.9%. Now it's moved down to this, 2.2%. Right? You can see Coke. The Coke moved up, was making some progress in the 90s, doing really well as a company. And you see a lot of changes happening. Philip Morris, you know, it's dropped down to 1.5%. You have a lot of different things happening here. Walmart, only 1%. Over here, there's no Walmart. So there's a lot of different changes happening in the S&P 500 within a 5-year time span, and things are constantly going in and out. Let's go look at the 2000s now. So let's just compare 2000, 2005. You can see here, General Electric still hanging on tough, man. Look at that, 4% and 3%. ExxonMobil still in there. Now you have Walmart back. You have Microsoft coming in here, doing really well. Look, went from 2% to 2.4%. So you got a lot of growth happening here in some of these companies. And other ones, you can see they're falling further down the list or even getting taken out completely. They don't even make it 5 years before they're not in the top 10 anymore. And here again, you can see the fall of General Electric. Look, 3.2%, and now only 1.6%. And you have, you know, oil and gas is doing good. You have Apple doing good, Microsoft doing good, Walmart's, you know, doing okay. Google, we have the growth of Google showing up here. You know, you can physically see the changes that's happening in the top 10 holdings of the S&P 500. And why this is important is because the Magnificent Seven is the top 7 holdings in the S&P 500, right? So this is what I'm getting at here, and you'll see here in a minute at 2025 at the bottom down there. Okay, 2010, 2015 comparison, look at that. Apple went up to number 1. Then we have Google, number 2, Microsoft, Berkshire. So this is starting, and look, you got Facebook on here as well, Amazon on here. So this is starting to look similar to what we have today, right? We have Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. They're all in the Magnificent Seven, and they're here in 2015. They're here, so they've been in here for 10 years already, and they're in pretty high placement in the top 10. Right, so you can see the growth happening here in these companies and how long they've been around in the S&P 500. Now look here, we got 2020, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook. Right, that's 5 of the top 7, or 5 of the Magnificent Seven right there in the top 5. And this is back in 2020, and they were here also in 2010 or 2015. They were there. They've been there for 10 years. Look over here again, 2025, today's holdings. You got Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Facebook, right? So these are the top 7 or the top 6 here. And Tesla's in the Magnificent Seven, and Tesla's not even in the top 7 right here in the S&P 500. So you have Tesla falling off the map. It didn't even make it 5 years. Like, it didn't get in 2020 in the top 5 or the top 7 in terms of weighting, and it was in there for like 20, 22, 21, 23, but it's not on the list because it didn't make it during this time span, and it's already dropped below the top 10 holdings. So when you look at this kind of charts like this, you can really see how long something stays around in the S&P, and you can see right here these top 7, and they've been here for 10 years, or top 6, they've been here for like 10 years. And that's a long time. If you look at the rest of the chart here, you can see a lot of stuff, doesn't hang around too long. We got IBM for 5, 10, 15 years out of here. AT&T made it what? AT&T made it 20 years out of here, right? The one that held on the longest was GE. You have GE. Where's GE? Right here. They're in the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. They made it for a long time, man. They made it 25 years. And I think that's going to be one that's probably like Apple, would probably be like the GE of today, where Apple ends up staying in the top 10 for 25 years or 30 years. But are all of them going to stay there? Look at how many of these have disappeared, and they're no longer with us anymore. And that's why I don't like the Magnificent Seven, because a lot of the struggles that we're seeing with some of these companies, more specifically Tesla, and I know Nvidia is struggling right now too with a lot of the chip manufacturing and stuff like that, because right now China's chip manufacturing is on the rise, and we may see Nvidia start slipping down as well. And you're going to see some other stuff start coming up here to replace some of these, and you're going to see some changes in the S&P 500 over the next 5 years. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like the Magnificent Seven. I'm not saying it's it's a terrible investment, but I'm saying I believe there's things that can do better than the current Magnificent Seven, and I believe some things are going to be changing, and we're going to see some of those changes happen here in the near future. So here's the chart right here. I'll put up here on the screen. If you want to screenshot it and have a look at it in your spare time, whatever, go ahead and do that. And just some food for thought, and just to share with you guys why I'm not a fan of the Magnificent Seven right now, because so many of them have been in the top 10 for 10, 15 years. And I don't think they can hang on a lot longer. I believe there's other companies that are coming up and growing and have potential to do just as well or better than them if the economic circumstances, will continue to improve and not decline. But, that's another issue. Is the economy going to keep going up or not? Are we going to keep having, GDP growth? Or are we, headed for the dreaded R word everybody keeps talking about, the recession? There's so many things and factors that could happen that could change everything. And I just want to share with you guys some food for thought, share the chart with you, let you see that visually what it looks like, that you can have these changes in the S&P 500. This just because you've been investing for 2 or 3 years and what you've seen is all you know. But if you go back and actually see the visual representation of how it's changed over the past 25 years or so, then it gives you a more clear picture of, what changes could possibly happen and how fast they actually happen, and you don't even really notice it. So, that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to share that. I can't even talk. that's all I got for you today. And yeah, that's all I want to share with you guys. Just give you guys something to think about. And let me know what you think about that in the comments below. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.